Hello, fellow travel lovers. Cheryl here. Just wanted to let you know that today's episode is actually a part 2 with my sister, Kate Skone. We are helping Ryan plan his trip to Disneyland. And so if you haven't listened to last week's episode, I'd encourage you to go back, check it out, and then come back right here where we jump right into talking about one of my favorite subjects in the whole world, food at the Disney parks. Enjoy!
To India and Ireland, round Africa and back again. We don't really need to know just where we'll go. Maybe Canada, then to Brazil, then through the Alpine foothills. All I really want to know is can we go? Oh baby, can we go? Round and around the globe.
Okay, you had other questions. I'm trying to think about what else you had. I'm looking at my notes here.
Food. We got to talk about food at some
Yep.
point.
Yes.
Food is one, mostly because, not so much because I really care about exactly what food I'm eating per se. It's more because I'm not a foodie like Cheryl is, but the strategy of how to do it.
Okay.
And I talked a little bit with Ingrid and Dawn about food and doing some ordering on the app. And I think you said in your email, Katie, to maybe put in some reservations ahead of time, which I need to actually start to look at that.
Yeah, if there's any table service restaurants, sit-down restaurants that you want to eat at, then especially if they're like super popular ones like the Blue Bayou restaurant, you'll want to do a reservation. And you can just do that on the app.
Right,
Yeah.
which I saw recently that they are now letting you do reservations 60 days in advance.
Yes, so you should be eligible
Nice.
to do it for your trip now. So strategy. Okay, so I mean, I can tell you what Nathan and I do. I don't know if it's like
Sure.
the best thing, and then I can tell you kind of what I've heard other people do. But what we tend to do is we'll eat some amount of breakfast before arriving at the parks because that it's for a few reasons. It's time saving. That way you aren't hungry right when you get in the park, meaning you can like go do stuff before you need to stop and eat. And usually food is cheaper outside the parks than inside the parks. So if you can eat your breakfast outside the parks, you're probably paying less for it. And that could be anything. That can be preparing food at wherever you're staying. So if you're staying with your sister, I don't know if you can like hit a grocery store and get like whatever you normally eat and just eat there before you leave or in the car or whatever. That's probably going to be cheaper and faster for you than stopping right away to eat breakfast at Disneyland. So that's what we usually do. Last time we stayed across the street, I think it was called the Anaheim Fairfield Inn by Marriott. And there's a Panera like in the parking lot of that hotel, and it's also like almost right across the street from Disneyland. So we would place a mobile order for the Panera in our hotel room, walk down, get our food, walk to the gates of Disneyland, and while we were waiting for the park to open, just eat our breakfast and drink our coffee, and then we would be
pretty
in
smart.
Disneyland. It was the best. And then we would go for a few hours and then stop to eat. But one of the big tips is to eat at off hours. Don't eat at noon and at 6 p.m. and at regular meal times. Like try to, if you're going to eat in the restaurants at the park, like it gets crowded.
2 o'clock lunch or something like that.
Eat something, like if you eat at breakfast before you leave and then have like a snack or something mid-morning and then like eat early to mid-afternoon but after the lunch rush, and then eat something else later in the evening. Like try to eat at off times. That's what we do.
So what are the times that are the peak times?
I mean, probably like lunch is like what, noon to 1 or 11:30 to 1 or something like that. It's going to be busy.
Okay.
So don't go eat lunch then. Eat it, figure out a way to not have to eat right during that time. And dinner, I don't know, like 5 to 7, it's 5:30 to 7, somewhere in there. I can't tell you exactly, but it's going to be like a curve of how busy it is. But just, try to structure your meals for the day to not have to eat during the busiest times. You'll have a better time if you're not in a huge line to get your food.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're at table service, if there's a big wait or something like that. And yeah, try to bring snacks with you. You can pack.
And they let you, and that's what's cool.
You can pack.
They
food
let you bring food.
You can pack in sandwiches if you don't want to. If you want to super save money and don't want to have to spend money on food as much in the parks. I like eating in the parks because I think there's a lot of fun things to eat. But if you're wanting to be budget conscious or time conscious, you could even pack more a meal type stuff with you. But you could at least pack. I always have protein bars with us, so we can at least you can eat them in line. It's great. It's that'll keep you going, and then you can stop for meals when you want to, but you don't have to stop for a meal every time you want to eat something.
So practically, let's say I were to bring a cooler that had food for the day. I'm now lugging that around with me and taking it on rides. How does that work?
So I've never done the cooler thing. We always have
but what about a backpack?
A purse or small backpack with us that we have our stuff in. There are lockers in the park. They don't let you bring a hard-sided cooler, I don't think. So you can't do that. But you can bring in a soft-sided cooler and put it in a locker. Or lug it around with you.
Lockers?
Yeah, you have to pay for the lockers. We've actually never done the locker, I don't think.
I've never done that.
We've just bring a purse or small bag, and you can bring those on the attractions. It's not like Universal where they make you put your bags in a locker before every time you ride something. It's Disneyland. They don't make you do that. So
on the slower rides, it can be on your lap. If you were to go on a faster ride, they do have a Velcro bag hanging on the seat in front of you that you can put your purse or your bag in. I've even a couple times wrapped my purse strap around my leg just to make sure it doesn't fly out or something like that. So I would recommend Space Mountain, even if you're not going to do other fast rides. And so on Space Mountain, maybe you need to if you're bringing a backpack, put your leg through the backpack strap or something like that.
So even though I don't like roller coasters, you would recommend Space Mountain.
Oh yeah,
it doesn't have any big drops. Katie? It's not a drop ride. It's it's going around tight curves and stuff.
It's just really fast.
Yeah,
and it's not even that fast because of how tight the curves are. The speed doesn't
go
that fast.
Fast, but it's not actually that fast.
It's very zippy.
Yeah,
but it's not spinny. It's not like the teacup ride where they're spinning you in circles.
And there's no drops.
No drops.
Yeah, sure.
There might be a fake out drop. No, I love it.
Cheryl's
It's
a good
great, and I hate
person to
drops.
reference here because she doesn't like drops either. So she's going to go at it, and you're going to be fine. So Cheryl, you also go on Big Thunder and the Matterhorn, right? You're good with those?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Big Thunder and Matterhorn. You should totally go on those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're great.
So, they're all technically roller coasters, but those are ones where, it's really not about drops, and I don't think there's any significant drops on any of those. It's more about, zipping around and, I don't know.
Because the level of drop that I can handle, just as a reference point, is Pirates of the Caribbean. Because I've been on that, and I remember that, and there are a few of those drops, and it starts to get to the point where I don't like this anymore, and then it stops.
Yep. I am the exact same as you, and Matterhorn, you're fine. Big Thunder, you're fine. Space Mountain, there are none. It's not even like that at all. And so you're totally good. And they're really fun rides. And Matterhorn, I would say go on it a few times. Go at nighttime and you get a view over the park. I've gone on it during the fireworks even, and you can see the fireworks right next to you. There's so many. Yeah, it's great.
Yay!
Okay, food. Katie, I think you and I should both list our favorite top 3 singular food items, not restaurants or eating experiences. What are your 3 favorite foods in DCA/Disneyland?
Okay.
I can go first.
I'm looking through my list because I have to choose something. So you figure it out. You go for it. I'll jump in after you.
So pineapple Dole Whip. So it's
I heard
you know
of that.
What that is?
Yeah, well, I do now
because serve almost.
Yeah, it's
Ingrid and Don told me about it.
You gotta do
I had
it.
not heard of it before.
And you can get it outside the tiki room and then take it in to eat in the tiki room while you watch the show, and it's awesome.
Yeah, that's very fun. I'm also gonna say the corn dogs in DCA. Are they even still there?
Yeah,
Katie?
they're still there.
These are the best corn dogs ever.
They haven't been Disneyland.
Really?
Yeah, they're in both
they're
parks.
so good. Yeah. Oh, they're so good. what's going to be my third? Do you have one, Katie?
I mean, there's beignets there, and they're shaped like Mickey Mouse, and that's pretty great.
Oh, that's right, because in New Orleans Square.
Yes.
Yeah.
To go back to your recent New Orleans trip, they have beignets at Disneyland, too, in New Orleans Square. They have them at Cafe Orleans, which is a table service restaurant, and they have them at the Mint Julep Bar, which is just a walk-up window, and it's very good. Yeah, those are great.
Ooh, I just remember their bread bowl soups in the New Orleans Square area.
Yeah, they have those.
Very good.
Those are very good. They have them at DCA as well. There's a couple different places to get bread bowl soups. Those are awesome. What else is my favorite
Does the
stuff?
app, because I looked through the app quite a bit and I don't remember, does the app let you search for particular foods to see where they're served?
I think so. I want to say.
I could probably pull it up on
I
my
bet
phone and
Google
look.
does, even if the app doesn't. You could just say, like, where is this
is
served
true.
Well,
in
This
these
is
parts?
If you
True.
want me to share my crazy document with you, I can, and you can look at my restaurant notes about what to get at different places.
Oh, do you really have it? Which thing to do?
Yes.
What? Oh, that's hilarious.
This is
Katie,
how I
love
roll.
it. The
Well, 'cause I was talking
churros
to-
are really good, too.
Because when I was
Churros,
talking
I
to-
always have
oh,
to
see,
get
I
a
love
churro.
churros.
They have very good churros. They're very long,
I
too.
do enjoy churros.
Yeah.
But I also heard that, and I'm trying to remember where, maybe it was the Blue Bayou restaurant does a really good Monte Cristo. Is this true?
Yeah. So they have it at Blue Bayou and at Cafe Orleans.
Okay. Because I do like Monte Cristo sandwiches.
If you're
Those are really
with
good.
somebody, you can probably just order one between the two of you because they give you these 4 huge pieces. And Nate and I ordered it, and we ordered 2 orders of it, and we both only finished less than half of our orders. We totally
Oh,
could have
wow.
just had 1 order of them.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know.
So that's a money saving one. It's just if you're with somebody, just order 1 order of the Monte Cristo.
Too bad they don't let you do a half order of that.
I would
then.
totally order a half order because it's very good, but it is very heavy. That's probably one of
So,
mine.
Katie,
Is the Monte
you need
Cristo.
to explain what the Blue Bayou is.
The Blue Bayou is a restaurant that is in the bayou scene at the beginning of the Pirates of the Caribbean attraction. So it is a Creole Cajun style restaurant. You feel like you're in on a veranda out back of a Louisiana mansion overlooking a bayou, and you see the boats
At nighttime.
At nighttime. You're indoors. It looks like it's night. There's stars over
I
your
remember
head.
seeing that from the
Yeah.
Pirates of the Caribbean ride.
Yes.
You can dine there, and it is amazing.
Yeah, and the
Is
boats
it?
are
really
going
fun to
by.
do while it's still daytime outside too, because then you
Yes.
get outside afterwards, and it's like being in a movie theater where you're very disoriented.
Yes.
Oh, it's so good. It's so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you do, Ryan, if you only did one sit down meal
Blue
this whole
Bayou.
time and just wanted to go cheap on the other food or just eat on the go, whatever, I would say go to the Blue,
Blue
Bayou.
Bayou.
It's the winner.
Yeah, and there's a lot of counter service to choose from also for quicker meals. So everything in New
Okay.
Orleans Square is awesome. They have great food there. Shocker.
Yeah.
Main Street USA has good food. Frontierland, there's a Mexican restaurant that's quite good.
Oh, yeah.
That one's good. That's all. That's
place.
counter
Yeah.
service. That's pretty quick. Apparently, Galaxy's Edge has good food, so you got to try that.
So one of the places that I'm looking at doing I'm actually looking on the app right now, is Olga's Cantina.
Yes. Now they don't have much
Which-
food there. That's more of a drink establishment. But you
Sure,
should totally
but I
go
believe
there.
I think I discovered that they do breakfast or brunch or something like that. And
Oh,
I am
I
a
didn't know about
sucker
that. Okay.
for breakfast.
Ooh.
View menu.
I guess that could
So-
be another strategy is you could go hard with a breakfast or brunch and then just snack after that.
Oh, we've
for
done
the
that
rest of the
too.
day,
We've
you
done
know?
that too. So the best breakfast
That's true.
in Disneyland that I've had is at Carnation Cafe on Main Street, USA. They have very good breakfast. It's a table service restaurant. You'll probably want a reservation, but it's very
Okay.
good. It's on Main Street. You could just get to hang out on Main Street and eat which is great. It's a great atmosphere, and the food's also very good. So I would recommend that for breakfast. And then you could do a big breakfast and then kind of snack the rest of the day. That would be good.
Katie, where's the place that you've eaten where you're like, wow, that was really not worth it?
Oh boy, there are anywhere in Tomorrowland. Don't eat Tomorrowland. Just don't do it. It's not good.
No?
There's no good food in Tomorrowland.
Oh yeah, I had
Okay.
pizza there one
It's
time. And it
terrible.
was awful, and I was like, "How did they mess up pizza?"
And the burgers aren't good. Just don't do it. And Toontown, just don't eat Toontown. I've never eaten there, but I've read reviews. Don't do it.
Okay.
I mean,
Brian, you could just skip Toontown.
yeah, you
though.
don't
I'm
need to go to
serious.
Toontown because that is like, I'm okay with doing most of the like kidsy attractions. That is just for like actual kids. Like,
Yeah, but what about Roger Rabbit's Wild Ride?
okay, you can go to Roger Rabbit.
I
That
remember
was-
going.
that was
I remember
okay.
going on that one with my grandma, and I remember it was fun.
Okay.
Okay. And there's the Disneyland
Yay!
nostalgia. We found it.
Roger Rabbit. Okay, that one's actually a cute attraction. Go back there just for that and then leave because the rest of it's not for you.
You don't need to go through Mickey's house. You don't.
No, I don't need to go
like-
through Mickey's
No.
house.
No.
Or the
It's
tree
kind of
house.
the difference
or
between like the kids' movies that we watch and we're like, oh, but this is also for the adults, and the kids' movies or shows, and you're like, oh, this is just for children.
Exactly.
This is not for me.
Exactly.
That's how Toontown is.
Yep.
It's
That's-
just for
okay,
the
that's
kids.
too bad.
Yeah.
But eating, yeah. So like, yeah, New Orleans Square, Main Street, USA, Adventureland has good food. There's like a place that has like skewers and
Skewers. They
yes.
have these meat skewer things in Adventureland that were so
the Bengal
good.
barbecue. Yeah, that place is awesome.
And then you can buy fresh fruit near there too.
Yes.
If you're just craving some fruit or in a pack or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's good.
So yeah, those are the good food areas. And then yeah, the Mexican restaurant in Frontierland. Those are the best places to eat. And then there's just, I mean, there's awesome like desserts and snacks all over the place. So I'll share my document with you and then you can look at my highlights.
I would say, yeah, in general, maybe just don't get too full.
Yes.
So that if you see a snack you want, like, you have the space for it, you know, because
Yeah.
it is fun to snack along the way there.
Yeah, we usually
Okay.
only do like one meal per se a day in the park and then kind of just snack the rest of the day. And it,
I mean, that makes sense.
yeah. Oh, there's a new place relatively new place in Adventureland that's called the Tropical Hideaway that looks really fun. So you should try that. They have bao there and they have lumpia and different Dole Whip like swirls with different flavors and like yeah, you should go there. Yeah.
I'm going to take Daryl to Disneyland just to eat, and we're not even going to go on rides. We're just going to eat.
Are you really gonna not go on rides though? Let's
No,
be
I'm
honest,
really
Cheryl.
not. I mean, no, I don't know. I really would go on rides. I don't know how to say it anymore.
At Cars Land, going back to DCA, there is a diner called Flo's V8 Cafe. It's like a 50s diner.
Okay.
It's counter service, and they have a French toast thing that is really good.
Ooh.
So you should get that in the morning
like French
time
toast.
before they switch to their lunch menu. It's very good. So that's a place that you should eat.
Katie, you're so excited.
I know. I'm excited for him, and I'm like almost
I feel that.
feeling
I
like
feel
I'm
that
going
so
on this
much.
trip, but I'm not, and it's
Yeah.
gonna be sad.
Yeah, so here's the problem. I'm afraid I'm going to disappoint everybody. I'm going to go and I'm only going to get to do like half the things because I'm going to go to the wrong place at the wrong time and I'm not going to do it right.
Well, let's come back to like strategy because we talked a little bit about this, but like, so I can send you my document again, but like, so there's different things, different ways you can approach it, but I would say like, you know, try to focus on like getting stuff done in the mornings before the crowds and lines get too crazy, and use your fast passes or use them as soon as you can, and then get a new one as soon as you can. Just do that all day.
How many fast passes can you have at a time?
So you can, let's say, okay, you're walking in, it's park opening. You get a fast pass for Space Mountain, and the return window is at 11 to 12. I have a nice little explanation of like that phrases this well. So let me just read that. Your next fast pass can be drawn either at the start of the return window for your first one, or 90 minutes from the time you grabbed your previous one, whichever is earlier. So if you're...
Oh, so you got to go back and say that again.
So, okay. So your next pass...
Okay, it's 9 a.m.
So it's 9 a.m.
Thank you.
Your return window for Space Mountain it says you can come back to redeem this fast pass at between 11 and noon.
Okay.
So then, but it's 9 a.m. now. So in 90 minutes, that would be 10:30 a.m. Then your app will let you get another fast pass. Then you'll be holding 2 fast passes. You'll be holding one, if you're using the app, not physically holding one, but like in the app, holding one for Space Mountain still that you can go back to at 11 a.m. But now you can get another one for any other attraction that you want. And so you go in the app and it'll give you a whole list of what the return windows are for all the different rides, and you just choose one. This is why I recommend using, we haven't talked about this yet, but Max Pass, which is the like app-based version of Fast Pass.
Right.
Unfortunately, they charge you $15 a day for it, which is dumb.
Oh, gross.
I know, it's horrible, but it's if you only go there like every so often, like
if you only go every 25 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That I would say.
And if you get to go into the park for free,
yeah,
which
That's
hypothetically
then
I
you
would.
should totally get the Max Pass, because the alternative is you have to, like, for the paper Fast Pass, you have to walk. This is what we all used to do, so we were all used to it. But that version is better. Back in my day, we had to walk to each attraction to see if it was offering Fast Pass still and when the return window was. Now you can just look in the app and see, which one it is, and then which the return window times are, and choose one. So it's so much better.
How common is it for people to get the app? Do most people get it?
Well, you can have the app without buying Max Pass. The app is just
okay.
You can just use it and look at the map and look at all the restaurant menus and do all the stuff, see where the bathrooms are, and use the app. However, you should explore the app a little bit because it's a really good resource. But you can also buy Max Pass and attach it to your ticket, and then it'll show up in the app, and that's how you would redeem it. I don't know how many people do it. I'm sure the locals aren't doing it for every time they go to the park, because they're not going to pay $15 a day. So they're just going to do the paper thing. But the tourists would probably generally be buying it, I'm guessing. So
or you could do it one time or 2 times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you're going for multiple days.
That's also a good
maybe you don't do it every day. Because Fast Passes were around, but not that when I had an annual pass. And yeah, I would just like, what's a popular ride that's going to have a long line and I don't want to wait in the line, go get a Fast Pass. If there's a new ride open, right when the park would open, I would go get a Fast Pass for it and then go about my day and then come back. And so, or get a Fast Pass next to another ride you want to go on, so that you're already in the same area. That works too.
Yeah. And then there's Fast Passes, or there's attractions that routinely have like an instant return time that's shorter than the standby wait. So like Big Thunder Mountain Railroad will often have like a return time that's like basically now or like in the very near future. And then you can go redeem that almost immediately, pretty much, and then get another Fast Pass, and you will have waited in the Fast Pass line instead of the standby line, and so it's shorter.
And a standby line just means the regular line.
Yeah. And
That's
so
what
when you
means.
approach a attraction,
it's different than flying standby.
Yes. When you approach an attraction with Fast Pass, they'll have like 2 sides of the line that are roped off from one another, and there will be signs pointing you, like Fast Pass return line and standby line. So you'll have to pay attention to which one you're getting into. But yeah, you should totally use Fast Passes, and I would recommend Max Pass as well.
And back when Fast Passes were very new in Disney World and Katie and I were in high school, they didn't check when you got on the ride if you were using a Fast Pass. So us and our friends would just hop the little line after no one was looking and just go through the Fast Pass one. And I'm sure a lot of people did that, because now you can't really get around it like that. You actually do need the Fast Pass.
Nope.
So, yep. And that was our form of being rebellious in high school.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Well, any other
are there any
burning things you want to share, Katie? Ryan, any burning questions?
Yeah, I have one final question, but Katie, it sounds like you had one more thing you wanted to share.
No, I was kind of going to ask what else you had that we haven't touched on, and then I might have one more thing to share, but you go for it.
Okay. So, and you've kind of mentioned some things about this, but one thing that we've done on the podcast before, just sort of in general, but that I think is interesting for Disneyland is what are the things that I should save, like keep my money, don't spend money on this, and what are the things that I should go ahead and splurge, like spend the money, it's worth it for whatever, whether it's a particular food or a restaurant or Max Pass or whatever it happens to be. Like, what are the things that I should just like, hey, don't bother, it's not worth it. So just kind of save your time, save your money, and what things should I splurge on?
Yeah, I would say, Max Pass would be a splurge. I would say you should do at least, like Cheryl said, maybe you don't need to do it all the days that you're in the park, but at least some of them, that would be good. I mean, okay, so dining is an area where like you can kind of like do both almost. Like you can maybe generally try to save money, but then you can choose some meals to splurge on. So we talked about going to the Blue Bayou. That's not a cheap restaurant. It's not like going to break the bank or anything, but it's not cheap. It's totally worth it. You should do that. But like,
it's not just a gimmick. It is actually worth it.
It's very good.
It's so cool.
It's a great experience. It's what Disneyland does best. It's like, it's very good food, but the theming is like what really seals the deal on that place. It's fantastic. So these themed environments is, what you want to experience when you're there. So it's totally worth it. But yeah, like with dining, you can, we've talked about some strategies, and you can kind of try to follow some of that, like bring in snacks and like eat breakfast before you go. And I mean, some people leave the parks to go eat meals outside of the park on the street that like Harbor Boulevard that runs outside the park. You could just walk out of the park, eat, and then go back in. I've never done that. You can totally do it though, because they're probably cheaper than on property. And then there's just...
And then it's just exchanging time for money.
I know, because I couldn't imagine like wanting to take the time to walk all the way out of the park to just eat and come back in. But, you can do that. And there's, other than that, you can eat at counter service restaurants to try to save money. But I say there's some areas where dining, like you can splurge on. That's fun. Like doing at least one meal where you're doing the table service is fun. And then souvenirs is a big area where you can save or spend as you feel led. We don't.
If you need to buy a lightsaber,
Oh, see, I have not even decided. Am I going to get a lightsaber? Am I not? Because if I need to do a reservation for that, if I'm going to. And then similar for the droid depot, am I going to build a droid? Am I going to build myself a droid? I don't know. Because those are like hundreds of dollars. Is it really worth it to me?
Have you asked the internet yet? Because I'm sure people online like have talked about what it's actually like.
I think, I sent you a link to the Disney tourist blog Star Wars Land.
I think so, yeah.
Like
I think you did.
Like overview, and on that blog post they have specific links to different things, and they have a link to their review of the Droid Depot and the review of the lightsaber, Savi's workshop. You should read those just to kind of get a sense of what you're potentially buying into, if you want to buy into it or not buying into. So but yeah, souvenirs, like we don't actually buy that many souvenirs. We buy some, but like we don't go crazy on it. But that's a general thing with travel. We just don't. We're not crazy souvenir people. We'll buy some stuff. It's usually like a mug and a magnet and like stuff like that.
There are Starbucks in these parks.
Do they have the right kind of mug though, Cheryl? I know that you understand what I mean when I say that.
Well, I think the United States no longer has my favorite mug. I think only Starbucks abroad have the one that I thought I was going to only collect. Because other U.S. cities no longer have the mug that I started collecting. But they have, they have like Starbucks Disneyland mugs and Starbucks California Adventure mugs. And so, yes, they have one of them. I think they have the You Are Here series when I got them, but that was several years ago.
Those are the like cartoony ones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not the one that I have.
Yeah, but you should check it out.
Yeah,
I'll look.
Yeah, there's a Starbucks on Main Street. And they also do have cute, like...
And
in Buena Vista Street in PCA, yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to share about a couple things kind of outside of the parks nearby that I thought are kind of cool. So do you know what Downtown Disney is?
Yes, I've been there once.
Okay. Have you been to the Lego store there?
I don't think so.
You should go to the Lego store. It's really fun. They have giant Lego creations in there.
Okay.
They used to have a giraffe, but I don't think they have the giraffe anymore. That was like taller than a life-size giraffe. They used to have Darth Vader as well. They probably have some Star Wars Lego things
Nice.
there. They also have a ton of different like Lego keychains that are really cute to buy. But yeah, it's just fun. I really like that Lego store a lot. I shared about it on I Wish You Were Here a long time ago, but I think you need to go to the Grand Californian Hotel lobby.
Oh, right.
Yes.
That's right. I forgot you mentioned that.
That would be really good downtime, too, if you want to just go sit in one of the, like, comfy chairs. Also, though, through that hotel is a separate entrance to DCA. Disneyland has one entrance. California Adventure has a separate entrance. If you just go through the hotel lobby, and then there's, like, this side entrance to the park.
And anybody can use it, or do you have to be a hotel
I think you have to be
guest?
a hotel guest to use
Did
that.
they change it?
Yeah, I think they did.
Because for years, I would just go through there all the time.
I think
Maybe
Nate
they
and I
changed it
tried
'cause it
that
was
once
people
and we
like
got
me.
told we couldn't use it.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. Okay, maybe not. But still, the lobby of that hotel, I would say go to. It's
Okay.
just like really cool.
It's modeled after the like national park lodges. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It feels like being in Yellowstone or
Yes.
something like that. It's really neat. And then you got to ride the monorail.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, the monorail's fun.
Yeah. Oh, you totally got to. And they have a stop at Downtown Disney, so you could always like do a little loop or something. But
Wait, and it
the
goes
monorail's
in and
great.
out of the park?
Yeah. It goes in, it has a stop in Tomorrowland and a stop in Downtown Disney.
Okay.
And then World of Color, piece of advice, Katie, do they still do fast passes for World of Color?
Yes. And those are not linked.
I would suggest
Yeah.
that.
They're not linked to the Fast Pass for the rides, so you can have one that's not taking up your slot for the Fast Passes.
Yeah, so then my friends were telling me that you basically have to have a fast pass to see the show.
I think that's
Because they like move you
well,
on, like
okay.
you can't just stand and watch.
Yeah, basically.
Are
Like,
they
that's the
getting more
only way to
stingy
see the
about
show.
it?
Yeah, I think it's
Okay.
how they like do viewing areas. So your Fast Pass will say which viewing area you're in. I think that's how they're doing
Yeah.
it.
Because the first time I saw World of Color, I watched it without a fast pass, and at the time they weren't moving people along, but I watched it from a terrible angle. And then the second time I saw it, I actually saw it like from a very good spot, and it was a huge difference because it's projections on water.
Yeah.
So like the
Right.
angle
Yeah.
matters, and it is so impressive. I mean, I know it's even the same show that I've seen, but like the technology is really good, and so I would say it'd be worth it to make sure that you have a good spot to view that in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are my other thoughts. Other than everything, just go do
Everything.
it all. The train in Disneyland is really
Oh,
cool
do the
too.
train. Yep. Ride the railroad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It does a whole loop around the park, so you can get off at different stops if you want.
Yep.
Katie's the one that taught us that at Tokyo Disney there aren't multiple stops because then they would have to charge fare for it. Was that the
Yeah,
case?
it's
that's
regulated
right.
as
Yeah,
a
yeah,
railroad
yeah.
by the government if you have more than one stop in Tokyo or in Japan in general.
right.
So they have the one stop that
So
it only goes
funny.
around like a third of the park because they don't want a big train that goes around the whole park with only one stop. So, yeah.
That's funny.
But you can use the
Okay,
train as a
Ryan-
form of transportation and as an attraction. It's awesome. You can like if you want
Okay.
to get from Main Street to the
You get to see dinosaurs.
back of the
so
park,
that's
you can
cool.
just ride it halfway around the park and get off. It's great. Yeah, and there's
Perfect.
dinosaurs. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Katie or Ryan, any final thoughts? Or are we feeling okay?
Just
I mean,
yeah.
I'm still feeling overwhelmed, but at least I have an idea
I
what
think
to
also
think
you
about.
could text Katie or one of your other friends while you're there
Yes.
too, so that would be good. Yeah. I think we need to ask Katie our guest wrap-up questions, though.
Yeah.
Even though this was not exactly her sharing about a trip, it kind of also
Yeah.
was.
Yep.
So, Katie, if you could, based on the title of our podcast, Take Me With You, if you could take us with you to just one thing in the Southern California Disney parks, what would it be and why?
Well, I'll talk about something that we did that was one of our splurges on our last trip, which was the Walk and Waltz Footsteps tour, which is a tour where they take you around like Disneyland and you go in backstage areas and you get to the big feature of it. That's the best part, is that you get to go in Walt Disney's apartment above the fire station, which is awesome. He had an apartment that he used to sleep in, and it's super cute. It looks like a Main Street, like turn of the century apartment, but it's above the fire station in Disneyland, and there's a lantern in the window that's always lit, because that's like was lit when Walt was there, so now they always have it lit. And you get to tour it when you go on that tour, so I would take you on that because it's super fun.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And Katie, what's your next trip to Disneyland?
Oh my gosh.
Is it with the boys, or are you going to go without the boys at some point? Before then.
I'd like to go without the boys before then, because I want to wait till they're like a little older and not babies, so that they can actually like do more things. So we're thinking about taking them like before they turn 3, but they're 6 months old now, and I'm like, that's too long to go without going at all. But so maybe Nate and I'll do like a weekend or long weekend or something, so we'll see.
Nice. And do you have any Disney questions for us? I don't know how to ask this question.
Do you guys... Okay, Cheryl, you haven't gone to Walt Disney World as an adult, right? You haven't gone.
Correct. Not since my freshman year in high school.
Yeah. And Ryan, have you ever been to Walt Disney World?
No, not really.
Okay. I don't know what that means.
Wait, what do you mean not really?
I mean, I've been to Florida, and I haven't been into Walt Disney World. We went to whatever the equivalent of Downtown Disney is.
Okay, yeah.
In Florida, but
Okay,
didn't actually go into
Not
Walt
the
Disney
parks.
World.
I guess that is
Okay.
a not really. I was like,
Yeah.
how is it not
You
really?
haven't been to the
You're like,
parks.
I've been
Okay.
to the state it's in, so you know.
Well, my question would be like, are you going to plan to go to Disney World sometime? And when would that be?
I want to go at some point again. I really want to go to Epcot again. I think that I don't think I appreciated it as a kid. And Epcot is like around the world in a Disney park.
Yes.
And that sounds amazing.
So,
Especially the
listeners,
food
I
part of
think
that.
you should send Cheryl and I to Epcot for the podcast.
Yes.
We'll
trip
do
report.
an episode from Epcot.
Listeners,
All you gotta
if
do is send us.
There, we will do anything you want us to do. And then I've never gone to the like what it's like a zoo essentially, like Animal Kingdom.
Oh,
Kingdom,
it's
or
so
what's it
good.
called?
It's beautiful. I mean, that's almost like an around the world, because they have Asia and Africa and these like highly themed areas that are like
It's
different.
like a really good zoo.
It's a really good zoo with attractions. There's a safari ride. There's like an African village and like an Asian village. Like it's kind of Epcot-ish, but like in.
See,
yeah.
I wonder if I could convince Daryl to go to Disney World more than I could convince him to go to Disneyland then, because like
Probably.
of
It's
Epcot
a legit-
and the
yeah.
Animal Kingdom
Yeah.
area.
Yeah, those are good.
Yeah.
Those are good.
Maybe,
Yeah.
yeah. How about you, Ryan? Are you ever going to go to Disney World?
I mean, I think I'd like to. So here's the really terrible thing. They're going to put in a Star Wars themed hotel at Disney
Yes,
World.
they are.
Well, then obviously you're going to go there at some point.
Well, not so obviously, because I think it's something like $5,000 a night.
for any room?
It's
Or it might be $5,000 for 2 nights
it's a
or something.
2-night
But
thing, and I think it's like $3,500. It's something insane.
Don't go
whatever
there.
it is,
It's-
it's
don't-
more
it's very,
expensive than
very,
I
very-
probably will pay.
Yeah.
Save the money to go on a cruise to Antarctica someday. Like that level of money for travel is like
Yeah.
or like go to Europe and do a whole trip to Europe. Like
Yep.
for
Exactly.
that
For that
amount
amount
or
of
less.
money.
Yeah.
Because would I love to? Oh my gosh, yes, I would love to. But
Yeah.
I don't think that is something that I will probably do just because it'll be
Yeah,
cost
don't do
prohibitive.
that.
For sure.
So, but it would be fun to go and experience the the Disney parks over there. For
And
sure.
if there's any way to experience the piece of the hotel, if they have a restaurant you can eat in, even if you're not a guest there,
That's
can
true.
you
That's
view the
true.
building, the lobby? Like, is there any piece of that you could experience without being a guest?
Yeah, we don't
And
know
then
yet.
That might make
We
it.
don't know.
Yeah, it hasn't been built yet.
Yeah, the
so.
details aren't there.
And they already know how much they're charging.
Oh yeah, they released that information.
Yep.
I don't know why they decided to release that so early, but
That's so dumb. I feel like that's the opposite of a good strategy. Should they start by being like, look how cool this is. Ooh, you could reserve it. And then you click check out cart, and then it tells you that it's that much. Oh boy. Well, Katie, thank you for sharing
sure.
all of your wisdom.
Yes.
Your wisdom.
Yeah, it is.
I'm
It's
very
Disney
wise.
wisdom. Yeah, for sure. Experienced, wise,
You're
all
like
of those
Mother
things.
Willow
oh man.
Oh, jeez.
or Rafiki.
Okay, I should probably help wrap this up a little bit. We're going to move to our last segment called Wish You Were Here. During this segment, each of the three of us is going to share a travel attraction from the many different places that we've been, kind of like a little snapshot or postcard that says, Wish You Were Here. So, Katie, why don't you start us out? What's your Wish You Were Here?
So my wish you were here is the Omi Gardens in Wenatchee, Washington. So that is spelled
Ooh.
OHME.
Okay.
It is a garden that's on this in a really cool location. It's a rocky bluff that's overlooking the city of Wenatchee and the Columbia River Valley below it. And you can see the mountains as well. And so it's this garden with this really cool view location and then the gardens are beautiful themselves. It's like this kind of, I think it's mostly alpine looking. And it was converted from like the scrub sagebrush desert that is what is the land around it into this beautiful lush garden, and it's gorgeous. And there's like trails around it, and because it's on this kind of rocky outcropping, it's like it almost feels kind of like hiking, but you have these beautiful gardens. And it was like a labor of love by a family that developed it over the decades, and they used to like hand water it until they got a pump system, and it's kind of got this cool story behind it as well. And it's just gorgeous. We've gone to it with Nate's sister and her family who live in Wenatchee, and it's a beautiful location. You have to look at pictures to kind of appreciate what it looks like. But
Yeah, I'm looking at stuff right now. It is beautiful.
The gardens are
looking.
beautiful, and then it has a really good view, which is also cool, which is not usually the case when you're in a garden. Like, you don't usually have a view of other things.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a cool vibe there. I think it's what I, in my brief internet looking before when putting together my notes, that I noticed that it says open every day April 15th through October 15th. So it looks like they close it for the winter. So it's, spring through fall. But it's a gorgeous place. So if you're ever in the Wenatchee area, you should totally go to it.
Nice.
Cool. Omi Gardens.
Yes.
Nice. All right, Cheryl, what are you going to do for your Wish You Were Here?
So I'm going to do one in Disneyland since
Oh.
I got so jealous that you're going there. And like I said, I had an annual pass for several years in college. So as a... You're not going to want to do this, but other listeners might want to.
Okay.
As a pass holder who went frequently, just like for a couple hours on a Friday night, sometimes one of my and my friends' favorite things to do was to go to Tomorrowland. And in Tomorrowland, they have a stage. And during the daytime, I don't know what they do these days, but they used to do like Jedi training for kids and things like that.
Oh,
It
okay.
was really cute. At nighttime, they would have a band come.
Okay.
And people would just, it just was a small area that you could just stand and watch the band play. And a few people would be there to watch them. And maybe people would just walk past and stuff. And my friends and I would start a dance party. And we would try to get other people around to join our dance party.
Of course you would.
And it was one of my favorite things to do in Disneyland, was just go to the Tomorrowland stage and get a dance party going. And then the band would take breaks. And then during the breaks, we'd go on rides. So that is my Wish You Were Here.
Okay. Do you still do that every time you go to Disneyland?
No, I also haven't been in 4 years, so I'm kind of missing it right now. Oh, it's probably going to be a while till I go too. So
You think so?
Yep. I'm going to have to go vicariously through you and your trip report, I'm pretty sure. So
Well, I think that's okay. Again, it's been over 25 years for me, so.
okay, well, there we go. I don't feel so bad now.
Yeah, 4
Although
years.
I know what I'm
25
missing
years.
out on. And
That's
you...
true.
Yeah. All right, Ryan, what's your wish you were here?
Well, I definitely don't have any Disneyland wish you were here's because I haven't been there in a very long time.
It sounds like the Roger Rabbit ride,
I mean, it was fun and all, but I don't know that it's a wish you were here worthy. So I'm going to go back to Ireland again. And I'm going to talk about something that I'm going to probably pronounce it incorrectly, and I apologize. But it's the Carrick Arid rope bridge.
A rope bridge?
Yep. It's like a suspension rope bridge that's over. Yeah.
Is it terrifying?
No. Okay.
Really?
So here's the thing. I didn't find it terrifying personally. That does not mean that it wouldn't be terrifying for some people. My whole thing with heights is I say that I'm not afraid of heights. I'm afraid of falling from heights. So as long as I don't feel like I might fall, I'm usually fine.
Okay.
So kind of like I said, I don't like roller coasters because you actually fall.
That's true. Yeah.
Right? Like I don't like the actual falling. So like I can go on the top of the Space Needle in Seattle, or when I was in France, I went to the top of the Eiffel Tower, right? And I can look down and I'm fine. No big deal. I can, look over the edge of the Grand Canyon as long as I don't feel like I'm going to actually fall. If I feel like there's a chance I could fall, all bets are off.
Got it.
And I wasn't really sure before I did this because it's a pretty steep drop off. It's kind of between two cliffs and there's water down between it and things like that. And so I wasn't 100% sure what I was going to think or if I was going to like it or not. But I actually thought it was cool. You have to go twice. So you go across once out to this little kind of mini island, and then you can hang out there and kind of look out at the water. And then you obviously have to walk back. But I don't know. I think some of it is the wood planks along the bottom you can't really see through easily.
It's not like in the Emperor's New Groove. Okay.
No, it's definitely not like the Emperor's New Groove. And I mean, it does move a little bit. It has a little bit of give, but it's not swaying back and forth like crazy. And I never felt like I was going to fall. I mean, I definitely had my hands on the rope, but I also had my phone in the other hand and was recording a video as I walked across.
Okay, so you were okay.
Yeah, I was okay. And I even looked over a little bit, and I didn't get the big, sinking feeling in your gut necessarily.
Okay, good.
For me, anyway.
Nice. And what were you looking down on? Was it land or water or what?
Mostly water.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
It is cool because it's, I don't know, it's pretty, of course, because most of Ireland is pretty. But then it's also just, I don't know, to be able to get out and then you're just on just rolling green hill-like things, and it's surrounded by mostly water, and so that was extra cool as well because I feel like it made, I don't know, you're just kind of on the edge of Ireland. I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure it's in Northern Ireland. I'm trying to check here, and I have way too many pictures to look through. And so I think on the other side of it, if I'm remembering correctly, you can actually see Scotland.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Because definitely part of when we were in Northern Ireland, you can look across and there's Scotland.
Wow. That's cool.
So,
yeah, it says it's in Northern Ireland, County Atrium.
Sure.
Antrim?
Oh, Antrim, part of the Antrim coast.
Antrim.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Got it. My pronunciation is just stellar, so
It's okay. I mean, mine is not that much better. So.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was cool. It was really fun. I would recommend it.
Nice.
Okay, so we're going to bring things to a close here for this episode. If you would like to, we would love it for you to follow us on social media. We are at TimWe Podcast. That's TMWY for Take Me With You Podcast on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter.
You can also email us at timwepodcast@gmail.com. Send us your favorite spending and splurging from Disneyland or any other trip you took. What's a trip you took where something got the hype and you were like, you know what? Should have saved the money. I'd be curious to know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You can also call us and leave us a voicemail. The number is 406-763-8699, or if it's easier to remember, 406-POD-TIMWE. You can call and leave us a tip for travel, a wish you were here if you wanted to, suggestion for a guest or a topic for the podcast. We would love to hear from you, anything that you have to share. We'd also love it if you would rate and review us so that other people can hear what you think about our podcast. And if you would subscribe to the podcast so you make sure not to miss any episodes, and share the podcast on social media so other people can hear about it as well.
As always, thank you to Beth Reed Miller for the use of her awesome artwork. You can check out more of Beth's artwork at Beth Is Something. And thank you to Erica Corbin for the use of her song Round the Globe. You can listen to Erica's music wherever music is sold or streamed.
All right, just to kind of finish things up here, Katie, thank you so much for taking the time. It's been so helpful for me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. You're welcome. Happy to do it.
Yay, Disney!
Yay, Disney!
And that's it for the episode. So until next time, remember to take me with you.
Take me with you to Disneyland!
Can we get a sailboat chasing down the sunset as we float round and round the globe? Salty air and balmy nights, guided only by the lights above. And a little love. Oh, the world is out there waiting to explore, and all our troubles here want them to be